You Got Schooled with Penny and Martin, the real and raw about today's education,
Listener discretion advised, not for the faint of heart.
nor the easily offended. Hey, listeners in podcast land. You have reached us once again for episode 2 for You Got Schooled with Penny.
And Martin.
And today we're calling our number 2 podcast our top threes.
3.
Top threes.
Yes.
Prices. We just got out of professional development.
Long hours of professional development.
It is snowing. It's patootie off outside. Martin has graciously volunteered to drive me home because I'm scared to death to drive in the snow. So we thought, what better time to take some time out and record our second podcast of this experience.
Yes.
Right? Thank you all for listening to the first one and coming and telling us
That
how
was
much you
very
liked
nice.
it. We always like to hear that. People like to hear good things. So anyway, we're calling this top 3, right?
Yes.
Top threes. So it's just the top threes that we have for some items in our life. Some of it, most of it, having to do with education, since this is what this podcast is about.
But we're going to start off with some personal
With
stuff.
some personal stuff.
So,
So you want to go first?
how about you go first? this
I go
time?
first this
Yes.
time? Okay. So what is this first top 3 that we're
This
doing?
one is our top 3 things that we're thankful in our life.
Okay. So top 3's personal.
Personal.
Okay. So of course, if anybody out there knows me, my top number 1 thing is going to be my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I would not be anywhere without him. And I am so thankful for the relationship that I have with him.
Nice.
Thank you.
Nice. Number 2.
Number 2, I said family. I have a rockin' family, not only my husband and my son and my daughter-in-law, but my brothers, my sister-in-laws, my nieces, my nephews, my in-laws, all of those people. But then my friends are so important to me too.
Very nice.
So I lumped them into the same category.
Nice.
Like, where would you be without those people? I consider my good friends my family.
Yes.
So family/friends.
Okay. I like
that
that one.
count?
I like that answer. What about Dakota?
Oh my gosh, Dakota too.
Okay.
Dakota's my dog.
I thought so.
I am such a dog person. Listen, dogs trump people. Dogs are better than people. I'll tell you what,
I can see that.
you have dogs.
I do. And I'd probably pick my dogs over a lot of people.
I pick my dogs over a lot
Sometimes
of people.
sometimes my children. Because they love me unconditionally and they don't talk back.
And they're not going to listen to this.
Maybe.
I love dogs. Dakota is my dog. My son would tell you differently, but she is my dog. I am the dog lover. My third thing is going to be peace. And that's probably very generic.
What do you mean by that?
When I say peace, I have gotten to the time and point in my life, and I think my relationship with Jesus, there isn't a whole lot that ruffles me, scares me, worries me, because my peace is grounded in my relationship with our Lord. So it is the thing that grounds me the most. Now, that doesn't mean that I don't have bouts of being a little bit fearful,
Right.
right? Or a little bit worrisome.
I think that's human.
I think that's human too. But it's like, goes away just like that.
That's
Right?
nice.
It
I don't know
is.
if many people can say that.
I never used to be like that. Every single thing used to worry me. Every single thing. If I didn't have something to worry about, I would find something to worry about. Or I would be worried because I didn't have something to worry about at the time. Or things scared me. Like, I was so fearful of so many things until I got grounded in the Bible and just had that most important relationship. And now there's just very few things that rock me. Now, I have a texting relationship with with my niece, and we bounce stuff off of each other a lot. Like, okay, this is going on. It's nothing to be worried about, right? No, it's not cancer.
We had that with the forehead thing
Right,
going on.
the forehead thing. I'm like, this isn't cancer, is it? No, it's not cancer. Now, it might be a brown recluse bite, and your skin might start rotting off, but it's not cancer.
I'm glad that's over.
Or what did Kill say? It might be Lyme disease.
In the middle of winter from a tick bite.
But it's not cancer.
No.
So anyway, okay, those are my 3. Your turn. What are your
Mine.
top 3 things that you're most thankful for?
Top 1 would be my husband and my children. I've got a very supportive husband.
Yes, you do.
He's been my rock in my dark times, and we've been together going on 17 years. So pretty much our entire lives,
That's
or at least
awesome.
half of it. So
Because you're so young. So young.
3 amazing children, and watching them grow
And beautiful.
and beautiful and sassy and
Like their mother.
oh yes, just almost taller than me. And then second would be my friendships, especially here with you. I mean, it's probably one of the best friendships I've ever had in my life.
I love you.
I love you too. And I think third would be mental health. Mental health
that's a
is
great one.
very important to me. As you know, my family has suffered mental health like no
Mhm.
other. Mom was bipolar schizophrenic, brother was bipolar schizophrenic, sister bipolar schizophrenic, and my father's bipolar depressant. So I seem to be the only one that hasn't gotten those attributes yet, even though my husband may say otherwise on certain spouts.
All husbands will say
Yes.
that, though.
However, my mom's was diagnosed in her late 30s, and so it's really important to me that mental health stay in check constantly. So
I think you're really good about that at school, too.
Yes.
Like, you are really focused in on our young people
Yeah.
who need things like that, which
And
is awesome.
I connect with them.
You do.
It's just, we've talked about me hating school and not having that outlet. And I think I want to be here for those kids that hate school and don't have that outlet, because I don't know how they are at home, if they're getting those checks. But I do it because I love them, and I worry constantly.
Yeah.
So those are my top 3.
You worry because you're a good teacher. So.
Okay. 3 things about school that you were thankful for.
Some people might think that this list took me a long time
Yeah.
to compile, but it didn't. Now, I am very thankful for a lot of things, even though I know that I complain about education.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of things that I'm thankful for. I wouldn't still be doing it.
Exactly.
Okay?
It has to be something we like.
Right. And I'm going to say that even though they drive me crazy, my number 1 was my students.
Whoop, whoop, me too.
Was it really? I'll tell you what. Now, listen. If you're from this school, then this is not going to surprise you.
Our unnamed school.
Our unnamed school that will go anonymous. I don't know what those are.
We actually have a soundboard
We
that makes
do.
sounds, but we like to make our own.
Yeah, why not?
Can we patent those?
Can we what?
Patent those.
I don't think so because they came on the equalizer.
Oh.
I think they're already patent, but
Okay.
This was the worst year
In what regards?
in as far as there is absolutely no way that I'm going to grow relationships with these young people, period. There is no way I want to grow relationships with these young people, period. Now, there was more that was going into those feelings
Right.
than just the students themselves.
It really didn't have everything to do with the kids.
It was the whole
Year.
environment.
Right.
Okay. That was just the icing on the cake that just sent me over the edge to tears several times. But
The little boogers grew
I
on you.
stinking love these kids. Oh, I love them. I
Okay,
really
what-
do.
What grades do you teach?
I teach English. Okay. So ELA, English Language Arts, I have all of the freshmen, on level juniors, and I teach college public speaking.
Okay. So you kind of have a variety, but the
I do.
majority that we're talking about
Are the
wholeheartedly
freshmen.
are
And
freshmen.
I love them.
Yes.
I love them. So that was my number one. They make me laugh. I have thoroughly enjoyed and been so thankful that they have grown. It is really, really difficult to get acclimated to being a freshman in a new building
Absolutely.
and knowing that you have to change the way that you look at things because you are not top dog on the totem pole anymore. But I am going to press to see how long it's going to take until you realize that I am not top man on the totem pole type of thing anymore. And they've wormed their way into my hearts, and I love them. My second one, I am so thankful that I can just be authentic in my classroom.
Absolutely.
I tell my students, it doesn't matter if I am in the classroom or if you see me at the grocery store or eating dinner. What you see in the classroom is what you will get when you see me in public.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what helps build relationships. You have to be with young people these days. You've got to be authentic. And that means when you screw up, you've got to help to show them what humility means by apologizing and admitting when you've messed up, when they want you to be human. And that's how I think they learn. So I'm so thankful. And even that they allow me to be authentic. Because I'm a cornball.
You are.
I am loud. I had one of our...
You're more than loud.
Do you think I'm more than loud?
You're more than loud.
What is next level above loud? Cacophonous?
Chiefs Arrowhead Stadium loud.
Oh, Shaw. I'm not that loud. But
close.
I did have a teacher come down the other day to make sure that everything was okay. Because he heard me. But that's just me. That's authentic. I'm authentic. I love being funny and joking up, and I love what I do, and I loathe it at the same time. But it's not that I loathe it because of the young people that are sitting in my classroom. It's all the red tape, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. And this is probably a controversial topic that I am thankful for, and I don't think the non-educator has no idea what we do for 9 months out of the year.
All they know is that we babysit their kids
we
and
babysit,
then we get summers off.
And then we get summers off. And look at you. You have a whole week of spring break and a whole week, 2 weeks for Christmas vacation. And now look at all the snow days that you've had. And it's not like that.
Like tomorrow.
We have a snow day.
So what are you going to be doing on yours? I'm pretty sure I'm going to be lesson planning, trying to figure out how I'm going to make up these snow days.
How I'm going to make it up because we are so far behind.
While being at home with
your
children.
Kids. Yes. Yeah. But that was my number 3 was time off, because you give so much of yourself for 9 months out of the year. It's exhausting.
Yep.
And when you see those memes on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, and they talk about teacher tired, or this is your teacher in August and this is your teacher in May, it is so there is no ounce of that is a lie.
I was going to say.
No cap.
Maybe we should do that. Take a picture of us at the beginning of the year, and then we'll take a picture the last day or after a long PD day.
They have that Snapchat filter now where you're all wrinkly and it looks like you've lost teeth.
Do you think we could do that on a computer and have it showing our faces?
Probably so.
That'd be great.
But yeah, those are my 3. And there's more, but those are just the 3 that...
Because this is top 3.
Because it's top 3. That's what we called it. What are your top 3?
Again, students. Last year was my first year teaching in regular ed.
Right.
Because 8 years, 7 years before that was all special education. And so this was the first year that I had buttloads of children. And so I connected really, really well with last year's freshmen. So our sophomores.
Your
this
sophomores,
year.
yeah, they were a
And
good group too.
have such a good connection with the majority of those kids that I had. And so that's what I compared this year. And when it didn't happen instantly, I'm sitting here going, not what's wrong with them, but what's wrong with me.
And also, we're comparing, when you say that, you're comparing May's freshmen to August's freshmen this year, which is also two completely different animals.
Our freshmen last year
they were a handful.
They were a handful bunch. Wonderful handful bunch.
Yes.
And it took me the first quarter to really start building connections with our freshmen this year, and I wouldn't trade a single one of them.
I know.
I really wouldn't.
They were great kiddos too.
I'm not lucky enough to have them all like you do. I have 68 of the 7.
I think 81? There's like 7. Is there 81?
80, I don't know.
I lost count.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So
a lot.
That would be my first. Second would be my staff. Working with such an amazing group of colleagues makes it enjoyable to come here.
It does.
You know, because nobody gets me the way that my colleagues get me and understand what we're going through because we're in it together.
Yeah.
And then thirdly would be our principal, because when I came from my first school, I had the most amazing principal, and I didn't think I would ever get to the point in my teaching career where I was supported and given freedom to teach what I wanted to teach in my classroom. And I believe that our principal...
Yeah, I was going to write having freedom to...
Yes. She knows what we need to cover, and she trusts in us to cover what we need to cover, and she doesn't helicopter us when it comes to... I don't know what other word to say.
No, that's...
But I'm project-based, and it's never been a question of...
Why are you doing that?
Ever. It's more so, let me know so I can come in and watch. And so
I love that about her.
I'm thankful for that.
Yeah.
So those are my thankfuls.
What was your second one? I was going to...
Staff.
Yeah. What was I going to... I was going to say something about that. Oh, I remember I was offered a position at another school for this school year. And I turned it down. And I remember going into our principal's office last year, the very last day, the checkout day for us, and told her I was just offered another position. And I said I turned it down, but only because of the amazing people that I work with, my friends here. So I piggyback off of that. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. All right. What's our last top 3 we're talking?
3 things that frustrate you about the educational system.
Okay, so top 3.
So not our school.
Not not the school
that remains
anonymous.
But education.
But education. Listen, I could have filled up a whole legal pad full of stuff. So I don't even know if this is my top 3. But these are 3 things that came to mind. State testing, any kind of testing.
Testing
fatigue. I loathe it with every fiber of my being. The students loathe it with every fiber of their being. They are tested beyond belief. I think it sticks them in a box. There are students that I have in my classroom that can tell me what we have learned about their curriculum, and they sit down in front of a computer monitor and they clam up. Did I say it sticks them in a box?
It does.
Sticks them in a box. And it just because you do well on a test does not mean that you've learned the material. But the state and the government thinks that it does. And it makes me so infuriated. And not only that, it's not a mark of how much the students know. And it's also not a mark of what we are capable of doing as teachers, but that's what we're told. that if your students don't test well, then it must be because you're a crappy teacher.
Yep.
No, that really doesn't have anything to do with it. That was the very first thing that came
Mine
to
too.
my mind.
Mine too.
One of the things that really, really frustrates me is nowadays it seems like I hear it more and more and more because of all the controversial things that's going on in education. And that's sticking all teachers in the same category.
What do you mean by that?
Well, yes, there are really bad teachers, and there are bad teachers who do bad things. There are bad teachers that might teach crap in their classroom or don't even teach crap in their classroom. But you have that in every single occupation.
Yeah.
You have bad doctors. You have immoral engineers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I hate being lumped into the same box because not all teachers are bad teachers.
Right.
Yeah, there are some, but it's not all of us. And then one of the last things that I have is it really frustrates me to spend a day, and I'm not saying this just because we got out of PD. That's not why I'm saying that. But I feel like we spend so much time checking off a box because a government official has said, an official that has never stepped foot in a classroom, that's never taught, that's never done anything, but they are making it mandatory that you have to do this, and this, although it has zero to do with what you're doing in the classroom. But it's nothing except to check a box. And that is really frustrating to me.
Well, maybe not even what we do in the classroom, but the fact that we don't know where all that information goes.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, we spend all this time doing this, but then people will say, well, you've got to be able to do that to be accredited. That's where the whole cycle of funding comes from. I get that.
Is this something that needs to be censored?
I feel like it. Can you tell? I'm like, what? Nothing to do with me. Nothing to do with me.
We're gonna be
I know. I don't get paid a 6-figure freaking salary.
Right.
Far, 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 far from that. You don't have the slightest stinking clue what I do, but yet you want me to come and check a box for you. Right? And I don't blame our administration because they're being told that this is what they have to do. I mean, it all comes down from the top and it just trickles down and it
peeves you.
It peeves me off. And I do want to make one stark, blazing comment.
Do I need to bleep it?
No.
Okay.
You have not sworn one time.
Aren't you proud?
I am so proud of you.
Yes.
Martin's got a mouth like a sewer. A sewer.
A sailor in a sewer?
Sure.
Okay.
What are your 3 things that frustrate you that you wrote down?
Mine was testing fatigue.
Okay.
I teach reading, and we test every 2 weeks.
What do you teach? Have we covered this with you yet?
Okay, so I teach freshman biology currently. I don't speak directly into the microphone, and it drives everybody crazy. So I teach freshman biology, junior English, and reading comprehension. So I try and make my English and my science non-testing. And some people don't like that, but we do. But we do project-based, and I feel like if
that's what they're going to be doing, though.
Yeah, they can show me what they know rather than checking boxes.
Yeah.
However, with reading is testing every 2 weeks, and it's a shorter test. It's not horrible. It's frustrating. But yeah, testing fatigue really gets to me just like it gets to the kids. Second would be the hours that we put in lesson planning. I am here almost every night until 5 o'clock. I go home, cook dinner, put my kids to bed, put my husband to bed, and then I stay up lesson planning. not because I don't have lessons done, but I'm having to change with the masses, what's
Mhm.
going to get them interested. And then it becomes very frustrating when I put in the hours into these, try to make it active
Yeah.
projects and activities, and getting buy-in from some of the kids is really, really hard.
Yes, it is. They are, and this is nothing against them for any of them that might be listening. Don't take it personally. But they have, their brains have now been taught to only function in 30 to second to 3 minute increments,
Yeah.
however long a TikTok is, or
Yes.
however long an Instagram reel is. And then they've moved on to the next thing. And that literally changes the chemistry of your brain.
Yeah.
So you've got them for 90 minutes. You can't just hammer bookwork at
No.
them. You can't lecture for 90 minutes. These are teenagers.
Mhm.
Their frontal lobe isn't even developed yet.
Right.
I am 52 years old and have trouble focusing on the same thing for 90 minutes, and I think my frontal lobe is developed. So it is difficult.
Yeah.
It is really, really difficult. Go ahead. I interrupted.
No, you're good. I'm wondering if we need to start doing lesson TikToks.
There are teachers that do that.
Yeah, that means I would have to get TikTok though.
I know. And I just feel like they spend so much time on it anyway. And I know I'm old school, but
we got to find something.
I understand, but I just want them to learn to think critically and put the phone down.
Well, it's the
critical thinking is killing us and our young people.
They just don't know how to do it. They haven't. I don't know if they've
and that's
really
difficult to teach.
Yeah, I don't know if they've been taught how to really think critically, because at this age it's hard to.
And I don't think they've had to.
Right.
I mean, you don't have to. So
that's true.
What's your third one? Did we cover your third?
Third one is monitoring. Feeling as if we are constantly having to monitor, not just in our classroom, but outside our classroom, in the hallways, in the bathrooms, in the parking lots, out in public, on social media, which I don't have social media, so I don't have to do that, which is nice. But it's constantly having to monitor what's going on in a student's life, not only in the school, but outside the school. And I don't know if it gets frustrating or sometimes
daunting
and overwhelming.
We are not, I haven't gone, we've taken classes on mental health and how to help students that are going through really, really tumultuous times in their lives, right? But I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. I haven't been trained in those kinds of things. But our young people need and crave and yearn for a safe place. And we are typically, your teachers are that safe place for them to come to. And it's daunting. It's overwhelming.
You take it home.
Yes, you do.
I know that I have a handful of kids that I'm extremely close with, and they've had traumatic pasts or traumatic instances that have happened, in the last couple years. And I constantly worry, okay, are they going to be okay over the weekend?
Yeah.
Or, he was kind of off this week, and I'm not going to be able to see him until next week. And what's he going to be doing over the weekend? Or, she didn't come to class today.
Is she okay?
Yeah.
There are a lot of young people that school is their safe place.
Yes.
It's their safe haven. And it's a lot of people worry about what's happening to students when they're at school. We wonder what's happening when they're not.
Yeah. Or even not at home, but out.
Yeah.
And so, when we have these long breaks or we have these snow days, it's that time away from those kids that we're still worrying.
Yeah.
Are they at home safe?
Yeah.
Or are they goofing off in their truck? And I mean, it's just.
We don't get the luxury of clocking out.
No. Nope.
So.
We should have ended on a happy note.
Okay, let's end on something happy. I cannot wait to sleep in maybe until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. Is that happy?
That's happy. I don't get to sleep in. think I'm gonna go home and play some GTA.
Yeah, I was just
I think
you
so.
are such a gamer.
Hey, it's been 2 weeks. I am 2 weeks
Really?
sober of GTA.
Maybe I'll go home and watch an episode of One Tree Hill.
I don't think I've ever seen that
It's like a cheesy early 2000s
TV show.
TV show. It's like become a guilty
Where's it
pleasure of
streaming?
mine. It streams on Hulu.
Which we are not sponsored by.
We are not sponsored by Hulu.
Yeah.
All right. Any other final words?
Nope. I think that was the final bell.
That was the final bell. Hey, click, subscribe, comment, sign up for your notifications so you will always be in the know when a new podcast of You Got Schooled comes out.
We should start doing shout outs to some of our people.
Okay.
Because I don't know if we're allowed to mention them.
I don't know if we should be mentioning them.
I know.
Hey, I want to shout out to my first semester, 4th period English class. How about you?
Shout out to a recent graduate who came in and
Oh,
talked with us.
shout out.
Yes.
Shout out to him. He knows who he is.
He does.
All right. Awesome.
Okay.
That it?
Yes. Stay
You got
warm.
You got schooled.
Bye.
See ya.